tell me, man, because I already know about this, but who DJ'd at one of our dances in Downview?
I remember Ron Nelson, man. Fantastic Voyage program, 88.1. I remember that, man. It was great. I remember when he was there, I was just so excited because the DJ that was playing the music I liked,
Mm.
that I would listen to every Saturday, was coming to our school to give us a dance. And I was so excited, man. That was amazing. I remember even after I was with my girlfriend at the time, we were about to leave.
Mm.
And Ron Nelson, he was packing up.
Yeah.
And I was there like, oh, Mr. Nelson, do you want me to help you get this into your car and stuff? And my girl's like, aren't we gonna go here? And I'm like,
It's
It's
wrong.
Ron Nelson. I gotta go help my boy here. This is Ron Nelson. I'll catch you later. I got things to do here, man. But
Real Talk with Star Scorpio, season 8. Today, I got a special guest with me. Some of the listeners that, you went to high school and junior high and public school, they know who this is, right? But some of my other listeners be like, oh, what kind of podcast is this? It's a pleasure for me to have my longtime friend on the show. We're going to talk about some hip hop, but we're also going to reminisce about some old high school, junior high days. So, Phil, welcome to Real Talk with Star Scorpio. How you doing today?
Pete, what's up, man? Brother from another mother. Thank you for having me on here, man. It's good to see you.
Yo, my pleasure, man. There's a special bond I have with my junior high boys, you know what I mean? And you're one of them, man.
Thank you. Same here, man. Feel the
Mhm.
same.
There's one thing I want to tell you, though, that made my day every morning, man. People don't know this, man, but I work from home now. But
Mhm.
for years, I don't know when I first saw you, though, one of the greatest joys for me, and I never told you this, when I used to drive to work with my colleague, there's a way I took, you know what I mean, down Borden, and I always seen you at the bus stop, bro. And I always love hailing you up. I was like, yo, that's my boy, man.
No
But yeah.
doubt, man. Seeing you again after, so many years, I'm like, yo, Pete, what's going on, man? I mean, we were good friends back then. We good friends still, man. So it's good to
Mhm.
see. I'm glad that you're doing your show. You know what I mean? I peep it here and there, yo. I'm so glad that you're doing this, interviewing local talent, your local people in your community. You're doing a good job. So
Mm.
respect.
Thank you,
Thanks for
brother.
having
So we're gonna get into some hip hop rap talk a little later, right? But what I want to talk about, I need to reminisce about our high school days first, right? But one thing about us is we went to different public schools and then we met at Downview Junior High. And let the people know what public school you came from because we all had our small cliques and then we got a bigger clique of friends when we got to Downview.
Well, I went to the public school I went to was across from Georges Henry. It was called Cairn Road. It's
Mm,
not called Cairn Road anymore. It's called Rennie Gordon,
mm,
right? But that's where I went from kindergarten to grade six. Me and I remember my friend Mikey Harrison. We
yeah.
grew up from kindergarten all the way through junior high to high school. So that's where I was from.
Yes, yeah, and I'm glad you shouted out Mikey. There's gonna be a lot of shout outs today, man. So
No
Mikey was
doubt.
one of them, but you came with Donna Lee as well. You came with
Yeah,
Danielle,
yeah,
and there's so many names I can't remember, but those are the names that I remember, man.
yeah. Do
Mm.
you remember also Sherry Duffy? She came from there.
Sherry
I
Duff,
don't know if
yeah,
you,
yep.
she was
Hmm.
from there too. Yeah, those right there, we were a little clique of us and friends. I mean, we all grew up together. We all went through that same school. So
Hmm.
um, I've connected with some of them. I even I connect with Mikey here and there. Like I see his posts and stuff sometimes. Danielle, I mean, we're all growing up. She has her life. She has kids. She has a daughter, I believe.
Hmm.
It's good to see them and good to just see what they're doing and connecting once in a while.
Yeah, it's still trippy to me because this is our life, right? And Dawnview for a long time was our life. We were like in a little bubble, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
it's crazy, man. But now me, Brookbanks, I had my group of friends. There was the Derek LaFredes, the Steve Curry, Jamal, Rob, Kevin, and even Rochelle and Susan came from Brookbanks. And
Mm,
when we moved to Donview, Tell me how your experience was in grade 7, because it was kind of nerve-wracking for me leaving what we knew from kindergarten to 6. What was that like for you, man?
Well, it was kind of the same for me because when we got to Donview, I only had a few of my friends in the class, right? A lot of my like Mikey and some of my closer friends, they were all split up into other classes
I
and
know.
stuff. So yeah, there were times where, when I walked into that classroom, I didn't know nobody, you know what I mean? And so it was very new, it was nerve-wracking a little bit, but after meeting you, you know what I mean? And after meeting all your friends and you met my friends, we all just made this one big click and made it that much easier. But yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking, at first because you don't know anybody. And
Mhm.
even when you'd go to your next class, it didn't mean that you were hooking up with your other friends and stuff like that. Like we were all spread out all over the place. So it
Mhm.
was a little difficult at first.
Yeah. And what made it easier for you when you saw us, me, Dale Morris, Dino? I met Dino K in the class, and I
Yeah.
believe one of them girls, and that Yvonne I met in our class too as well.
Right. I got to know you and Yvonne the most, I would say. Dean and Dale, I mean, everybody got to meet them. I mean, they were the twins,
The
you know what I mean?
twins, yeah.
So we all got to meet them. So it was good. I mean, especially between me and you, we became friends. We had similar backgrounds and stuff like that. So it made things a lot easier after a while. And I got to know your friends, you got to know mine. It was
Yeah.
good.
And the laughing, go ahead and say what you want to say.
I was gonna say the thing about you was in class, once we got to know each other, is I couldn't even look your way half the time because every time I did, you would start making me laugh and have me in hysterics to the point where I'd have to crawl under the table just to stop myself from laughing, like force myself, don't look at Peter. Don't look at Peter. Because he's gonna make me laugh every time. But yeah, I love you, brother, man. Me and you
Love
are
you too, boy. Yo,
on.
it was only fitting for me like to get into comedy because I realized how funny I could be in
Most
grade 7.
definitely.
That's where it started for me, bro.
And when I remember when you told me that you were in comedy, I
Mm.
was just like, no doubt, this guy is freaking hilarious. You know what I mean? Since when we were young, this guy had me freaking in hysterics most of the time. So I wasn't surprised when you told me you were in
Trust,
comedy.
yes, bro. Yo, and then yeah, you mentioned our similar background. So let the people know, because when I was in Brookbanks, a lot of the black friends I had were from Jamaica. They had Jamaican roots. But when I came to grade 7, let the people know.
Well, when we were in public school, it was me and Dawn, right? I knew her. She's from Barbados too. I remember my mother always being like, "Well, why don't you go for a nice girl like Donna Lee?" You know what I mean? But me and Donna, we were like that. It felt more like brother and sister kind of thing than wanting to be boyfriend and girlfriend, which was fine with me. You know what I mean? She just felt like family,
Mm,
and meeting you, it felt like family too. You know what I mean? So. Um, I I was born in Barbados.
mm.
My parents brought us up here. We were first thinking of going to the States, actually.
Oh,
Then
wow.
my father decided he was going to take a job up here in Canada, so he brought us all up here.
Mm,
So when you think about it, like I've been here most of the time in Barbados, but I've always gone back and forth when I was young to back to Barbados, spend time with family, cousins, and stuff like that.
mm.
So I always had a little bit of a grasp of my Bayesian roots, you know what I
Yes.
mean? But I was always TO the six, you know what I mean? Toronto.
Yeah, trust me. Thanks for that history. And also, when we got to Donview, we both had siblings in the same grade, I believe, right? So when we were in
Yeah.
grade 7, David, my brother, was in grade 9, and then your sister,
Jill.
Jillian, yeah,
Yeah.
was
She
in grade
was
9.
she was there. So that actually she helped me out a lot to, you could say, acclimate myself to the school and get to know it and where to go and stuff. So she helped me a lot when I got
Mm. You know what
and a
also
lot
helped
of
me?
people. What?
No, say it again.
Oh, I was just gonna say that, since her knowing a lot of people when I got there, people knew me and I didn't even know them, but they knew me from my sister. So it made things
Exactly.
some things a little easier.
That happened to me too, man. Like my brother's friends knew me, but also that grade above us, bro. that helped me out too because I grew up with Riggs, rest in
Yeah.
peace, Dwayne Martin and Greg Simon. Like I knew them from when we were young, so it was good to have that connection too. And Rob Fata, who's down the street from me, but yeah, great to have that connection. Okay, Phil, um, I'm gonna I'm gonna list some things that happened in junior high, and I gotta see if you remember these things that happened. These are events that were like staples. There's probably more, but one thing I remember. Let me ask you if you remember when Steve Chugacos, got hit
Mm.
with that light fixture at the dance.
I remember that, yo. I remember that. I remember that spreading all through the school. I remember, just talking about it, wondering what happened, like the specifics to what happened, if he was okay and stuff like that. It was a serious event, you know. I'm glad that nothing too bad came out of it. You know what I mean? But it was a strange event that happened, you know.
Yeah, lucky it wasn't more serious. But he could have made a lot of money from that. Like when you think of it, man, a school
Oh,
board. Gosh, man, could have made a lot of
no
money.
doubt. I mean, he could have got really badly hurt. I mean, in days like today, an event like that, yeah, they would have taken it a lot more serious
Oh,
than
for
back
sure.
in those days. You know what I mean? I mean, there could be a lawsuit and all that could have happened, stuff like that. So it was just good that he came out of it okay.
Yeah, man. And I believe he only had a lump. I don't there was nothing else, but I remember
Yeah,
him holding an ice pack on his head back in the day, man,
yeah.
that when it happened.
I mean,
Okay. Mm,
I was just gonna say, like, he could have really been hurt bad, you know.
yeah.
So I was
So
glad that he came out of it.
lucky thing, man. I know because it is one of our boys, right? That you're like,
No
whoa,
doubt, man. No
scary,
doubt.
man. Mm.
Exactly.
Okay, the next thing. Do you remember? And I gotta be politically correct here. When Courtney, I'm not gonna say his last name, he laid one on a developmentally challenged individual in the cafeteria. Do you remember that?
That I don't exactly remember that. I remember another situation with him that he
Okay.
got into, but I don't specifically remember that situation.
Okay. Okay.
Situation that I remember was when we were in school, we were out just outside the cafeteria area, and I remember I think he got in an argument and a fight with somebody, and out of nowhere he pulled out a knife, like he pulled out this kind of steak knife out of everywhere. And I mean, being from that school, you know, if there was a fight, it was just a fight. It was never really any weapons or anything. So when he pulled it out, like we were all just like, "Oh, Courtney, like what's going on?" You know what I mean? Like put that away and stuff. Like
Mm,
we had never really experienced that. And I know from Courtney's background because we all got to know him for a while. Like he was from the Jane and Finch area, you know. So I'm, we had never really experienced anything like that. So when it happened, it was pretty scary. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
that's one situation I remember before that it was like, wow, game
Yeah,
changer.
and just to touch on that, it's because the area we grew up in, we weren't exposed to things like that. You know what I mean?
Not
Some
as much.
young,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
like we had the Roywood basketball courts, in the tennis
right.
court there. We
Hmm.
also had the Maisonettes, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I remember hanging out in there and stuff, but we had never seen it so up in front and close like that. Not to
Hmm.
say that those things weren't happening, but we weren't really a part of it, you know what I mean?
That's
So
right.
when things started in junior, I mean, we just came from little public school to junior high, and all of a
Hmm.
sudden an event like that happened.
Hmm.
We had never seen anything like that. So we weren't ready for it. It was surprising and scary at the time.
It takes you back. Yeah, and I remember that. I remember that incident because he got suspended too, I believe. Like
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
And he
So
lived in the same building as I did. So on his suspensions are like, on his suspension, I went to see him just to see if he was okay and stuff like that. But he was a different guy in our junior high.
yeah, and Graydon Hall, man. Yo, but I gotta tell you, I bumped into him. I would say at least 5, 6 years ago when I was in Square One,
Oh, for
Mississauga.
real.
Yeah, man,
I
and
haven't seen him since those
years.
days.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, that's a
year. Yeah, man. Since those days, I have not seen him. Like, well, no, actually, a little bit into. We went through junior high, a little bit when we went to Georges Henry, and
yeah.
then he disappeared.
Disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, it was weird seeing him. He recognized me. He's like, yo, Peter Lawrence. But I recognized him because he didn't change. But he was trippy. He was tripping that I was there because I asked him about you and Mikey, and yeah, he said he hasn't seen you. I took his number, but we didn't connect though. But yeah,
Oh.
man. Okay. That's incident number 2. Do you remember when Brad Fremo? You remember Brad Fremo?
I don't remember. Maybe
You
if
don't
I
remember
saw
that?
his face, but I
Yeah.
don't remember the name.
Bro, if we whipped open a yearbook, I have the yearbook here right now, though, by the way. But if you ripped open a yearbook, you would say, "Oh, Brad, yeah, yeah, yeah."
Yeah, I'd probably be like, yeah, yeah.
He used to dive at Canada's Wonderland in the summers. This is after junior high. Yeah,
Right,
off the
right.
mountain. You know what I mean? He's one of those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah. Oh
Mm.
my God.
But yo, we used to do some dangerous sports. Like our parents, if they knew about this, we used to play red ass with like a hard ball and things like that. It
Yeah,
was
man.
crazy.
That
But
was the ultimate game then, man.
yeah, that was ultimate, bro. But this happened on the football field, soccer field. But I don't know what we were playing, football or soccer. Someone grabbed Brad like to tackle him, swung him around, and he hit the goalpost with his head. And he started gushing blood from his head, man. But he was one of those tough guys who it didn't phase him. You know what I mean? While they're walking into the office, he's making jokes. But do you remember that incident?
I don't remember that, man. I don't
Mm.
remember it. I can't remember that, but it sounds serious at the time. But no, I don't remember him. But as
Yeah,
I said, if I saw his face, maybe it'd bring back some memories, right? But I
yeah,
don't remember.
yeah. Damn. Okay. The last one. Um, yo, I was gonna say this while we were talking. I forget my memory now. I'm almost turning 50. Wait, you're 50 right now?
Yeah, man.
Oh, happy
Just this
belated
past July.
July. I was gonna ask you the month because I still remember the month. I just didn't know the day.
Past July, yo. Yeah,
Yeah.
big 50.
Yo, bro. None of us look our age, man. It's so weird to see. You know what I mean?
You try to keep good, you try and do your thing. You exercise, you eat right, you know what I mean? I'm still just living. I work, I have my son, I do my duty for my family,
Mhm.
but there's still a lot of stuff that I like to do from back in the day, you know what I mean? It keeps you youthful, keeps you alive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try to stay active,
Yeah.
I try to exercise as much as I can and just do my thing, you know what I mean? But for
Yeah.
me, I got the grays coming in here, and
Yo, bro,
stuff.
I got it too. I just diet. I just diet. It doesn't die properly though. Whatever.
I was thinking of that, but I was like, I like to distinguish.
Yeah, you're right. I let it grow a couple times and people but it was just down here for some reason.
Yeah,
Mustache, not gray. It's here, but I had like a gray patch in the middle, and we were like, "Oh, it
yeah.
looks good," but we'll see.
Can't do nothing about
Mhm.
it.
Yo, so one thing I loved seeing was you in the mornings, bro. I got to tell you, when I used to work in the office, it was so nice, right, to see you in the morning because I didn't see you for years, and then I would see every morning and hail you up with the girl I was driving in with, and it would be
Yeah,
like, "Yo, that's my boy," you know what I mean? But I got to tell you, one time we linked at the gas station,
yeah,
and I'm talking about age here and stuff, but bro,
yeah.
we were talking about working out. You showed me your six, bro. You still had a six pack, and I'm like, mine was gone a long time ago, man. But on the workout thing, you still work out and keep in shape, then, right?
I try to, you know what I mean? Like during the pandemic with everything closed down,
Mhm.
I bought my own equipment that I put in the garage and stuff like that, right? So I tried to keep up with it. I mean, I try to still just have someone of an active life, and the job that I do right
Yeah.
now as well, um, it keeps me active. I work in a distribution center for Pepsi, so that job keeps me active. My son keeps me active,
Mhm.
and just the things that I still like to do, as in going cycling and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Going to the ball court, just shooting around a little bit. I still like to do those things. I still enjoy them.
Mhm.
So I try to stay as fit as possible. You know what I mean? And we're not in our 20s anymore. We're in our 50s now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we got work and we got family and we got kids and stuff. So I just try to keep up with you know, staying active, staying fit as much as I can.
Yeah. And healthy too, right? Because on the other
Exactly.
side of it, man, I don't want to get emotional, but on the other side, I seen a lot of people pass, bro. It's like
Yeah,
I'm hearing it all the time. People I know, this girl Nicole that I used to go to church group with, she just
right.
passed recently. So I'm seeing all the posts, you know what I mean, on Facebook. And then I just reminisce over the days, you know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, I knew her and now she's gone. And I'm like, it's hitting me hard when I hear all the people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a realization that, we're not kids anymore. We're growing up. We got families. Like the amount of people that I knew back in the day, and I see them on their social media. I mean, everybody's got families. Everybody got kids. We're all moving up there. I know there's some people out there. I think even Ann Stevens, like I think she's a grandmother
Yeah,
now and
yo,
stuff like that, right? And
oh,
it's kind of just like me even thinking about being a grandfather right now. It's just like, whoa,
yeah.
even that's a little too far for me right now. But that's happening with some of our old friends and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And it's just amazing that it's good that we can all still kind of connect on here and stuff like that. It's good that we can all see and watch each other with our families and think back of the good times. You know what I mean? That we were just kind of have that feeling like it feels like we were just there, but
Yeah,
now we're here now and we are the parents. You
yeah,
know what I mean? We're not the kids anymore.
yeah. It's crazy. Wait, how old is your son?
My son is turning 14 this year,
14.
right?
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I had him a little later in my life, right?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
I guess I was just, into my early 30s, I was kind of thinking, is this going to happen? Do I really want this? And when my son came around, it was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me in my life.
Trust me. I can tell from your post, man. I used to enjoy, you don't post that much anymore or something. But when I got on, because I got on Instagram, I got off Facebook after comedy, like for a long time, from when I stopped comedy in '08, and I just
Yeah.
got on like 2 years ago or something. And then Instagram, I just got on in 2019, 18, I don't know. But when I found you, I used to enjoy looking at clips of you and your son everywhere doing different things, video games and all that. You know what I mean? It was nice.
Yeah. I mean, when he came into my life, like I remember his mother at the time when she told me that she was pregnant,
Mm,
I was I was terrified,
yeah.
utterly terrified. For 9 months, I was just a zombie. Like
Mm,
I wasn't eating. I didn't know. I was with the thought of like, I don't know how to be a father. I don't know how to do this. What am I getting into? And I remember when he was born, he long story short, he had moved within the night sideways, so cesarean. He had to come out with
yeah.
a cesarean.
Mm,
Anyways, when he came out, the doctor gave him to me, and the doctor was like, go out into the hallway, wait for because we're gonna fix mommy up here. And I remember holding him and looking at him, and literally all that fear just spilled out of literally. Like it felt like it just spilled out of my feet, and I just knew that I would do anything and everything for this little man that I had and changed my
basic. Yo, you just made your teaser, man. You just made your teaser.
life.
Yo, beautiful. Nice to hear. Yo, Phil, man. Yo, I'm getting shivers talking to you, man, because I'm just thinking of us in grade 7. We didn't know 30 years later we'd be sitting doing it's crazy when you think about it, man.
Well, what's good is that those times that like we'd see each other down on Warden,
Mm.
it always seemed like I would see you, and then maybe 2, 3 months would go by, maybe 4 months, and then I would just see you again, and we would just sit and chat and be like, yeah, 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 you remember this person? Do you see this person? And then you'd be gone for a little while, and
Mhm.
then I'd see you again, and then now that you're doing your podcast, you're online, you're doing your thing. It's good to see you out there and doing your thing. We can connect.
Yes, trust me, man. Yo, before I get into the next thing, which is high school, it's funny that you said, about the grandparent thing. So Aunt Stevens, Steve Curry, grandfather, Dane Clark, grandfather. I know this girl
Oh,
Nadine from Nadine and Dane had Tristan together. Tristan's my goddaughter, and she's a grandmother. It's so weird. And there's probably so many people, but just it's so funny to hear. You know what I mean? Grand.
it's so
Mm.
it's it as I said, it's like there was a. there was a time that we were the kids, we were the young ones, you know what I mean? And now being in the position we're the parents, you know, and we're the grandparents and stuff like
Mm,
that. And being able to see our lives, especially through social media, seeing people's lives and what they're doing with their kids and stuff like that is so much has changed, Joe, but so many good memories. That's all I
great
can tell you.
memories, man. Yeah. Yeah. And now I want to ask you about high school. So the last question about school is oh, I also want to ask what you it's crazy because I always ask people, oh, what'd you excel in school? But I don't know them, right? But I know you. We went to school. So I want to ask you about the subjects that you like because I didn't like school, man. I didn't like junior high when it came to
Yeah,
studying besides gym class, right? But
right.
let me ask you this. When you went to George S. Henry, was it a shock to you? Because we went to Donview for 7, 8, and 9. And then I
Yeah,
come to learn when I was in VP that most people stopped junior high in grade 8. So they started high school at VP in grade 9. So I'm coming in wet. I'm like with my friends, but we're a small group, but the whole school know everybody, right? So it
yeah.
was kind of a shock to me. But how was that to you? Because again, you stopped in grade 9 in junior high at Donview. You went to George S in grade 10.
Well, some of the friends that that we made in Donview, like a lot of them came over to Georges Henry as well. Even my girlfriend at the time, she came over to Georges Henry. Plus, my sister was there, right? So I knew some of the people that she knew too. So it made things a little bit easier for me, where some of the older kids knew who I was from my sister, you know.
Mm,
And yes, we had some friends from Donview that went there. So it made things a little bit easier. Mikey was there. My friend George Singh, that we know as he's known as Nia Singh now. He runs for mayor every year right now. He was there.
mm,
He was part of. He was one of the dancers, danced with us in Top Secret and stuff like that. So that transition was a little easier than Donview. Donview was just like, because of the position I was in, like I barely knowed anybody because we are all separated in classes. You know what I mean? But then going to Henry is a little bit easier.
mm.
So it was
Oh,
okay.
yeah. And you're right though. Even though it was a shock for me because I remember in my grade 10 class, I was like the only one. And then there's all these new faces I didn't know. But you're right. My brother was still in Vic Park. And then because I knew the Gregs and the Waynes and all them, right? The Rob Pat, you kind of slide in because of sports with my vertical. I quickly got known as that guy who could jump, right?
You still got
So
that vertical?
no, no, it's sad because it's like, what is Peter Lawrence without a vertical? I'm nothing. I'm nothing.
Right, man. That's what you were known for, man. That
That's
vertical, yo.
yo, bro. It hurts, eh? It hurts because that was me. Some people have their thing, right?
Yeah,
My thing was jumping, right? And now that I
yep.
can't jump, yo, I'm like, you know what it is though, Phil? I think it's the weight, man. I can still
Yeah,
spring, but
yeah,
if you think of it, I was 125 pounds flying through the air, right? Now I'm like
right.
170, so I can't
Yeah,
get that
that same vertical.
acceleration. You know what I mean? But yeah,
We're older.
yeah. Trust me, man. The knees, bro. All right, let's get into the
All right,
music now.
all
I
right.
gotta. Oh, what subjects did you like, man? Because I know we were in music theater. I played the trumpet, and I believe you were on the trombone. I believe the trombone, right, or the trombone,
Actually, when I was in okay, when I was in junior high,
yeah,
I played the baritone,
the baritone.
right?
That was it.
Baritone.
Yeah,
And then I played that all out to the year. But when I went to Henry,
yeah.
I played the baritone, but then they put me on the trombone, and then they put me on the tuba as well because the
Oh,
tuba and the baritone were similar,
right.
but they put me on the trombone too. So I actually had to learn that. And even though I knew the notes, I instead of the note knowing the notes from here, I
Hmm.
had to know the notes here, right? So
Yeah.
that was a challenge. But yeah, in grade 10, I was playing all three of those at that time.
Yo,
They would
that's
just switch me up during different songs we did and stuff like that, depending.
yeah. I respect
But
that, man. Yo, we didn't have music in, as far as I know, in VP. So you
you
still had
didn't?
it? No, I don't remember them
Yeah, it
having
was still
music.
there. They had the string, you had strings band, you had
Yeah.
the brass band, and you also had keyboard. as well
Oh,
as that,
flip.
right? It was just
Mm,
a straight learning to play the keyboard class.
okay. You know, I
So
kind of find that instrument cool. It's a trombone,
trombone.
the sliding one. That one was always cool to me, man. You know what I mean?
It was cool to play. It was just difficult at first because, as I said, I was so used to changing notes on my fingers, and all of a sudden I had to switch it and play it from extensions like
Yeah.
that, right? So that took some time, but eventually I got it. Yeah, I used to play all three of them.
Hmm. So tell me, what subjects did you like?
Um, I did law class. There was a
Mm,
law class in there. I did that. I actually enjoyed that.
mm,
I enjoyed geography.
mm.
I utterly hated math class. I hated math class.
Yeah.
Um, I loved science. I loved drama, right?
Oh, drama
I
was good.
was
Yeah.
it was just a fun class to be in. And
Yeah.
of course, gym class. I mean, who didn't like gym class? We were all
Mm.
into sports. It was part, sports teams. I remember they had a little workout gym in there and stuff that sometimes during lunchtime I just go in there and just pump some weights for a little while. So it was good. But those were my favorite class.
Mm. Wait, I gotta ask you this because you just reminded me something. Do you remember the Friday 20-minute runs with Mr. Clyde? We had to run in the circle.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, I remember that, man. That was he put us through some brutal training
Man, I'm
sometimes,
telling you,
man.
man. Mr.
But it worked.
Clyde, man. Yeah, trust me.
Mr. Clyde, what I remember from him, if I could just say quickly,
Mhm.
he used to do gym class, but he used to also do history class.
Yeah.
And I remember being in his history class, and all it was him writing lines after lines after lines on the board. And we'd be sitting there, whatever, half an hour, 45 minutes of just writing out lines after lines. That class, I loved Mr. Clyde as our gym teacher. I hated him for our history class.
Yo, don't even tell me. Yo, I bet anyone that forget about our grade, our siblings' grade, even before us, after us, if Clyde was teaching history, everyone went through the same thing. And this is why
Yeah,
I didn't do good in the course because it was just writing his notes from the board. And
right.
then what do you do from there, right? I'm like, get this. I
It was
hated that,
just
man.
kind of like I remember him with his test, and just it was basically just memorizing notes,
Mm,
memorizing all the stuff that you had written down like through half the year or something.
yeah.
And you got a test coming up or an exam, and it's memorizing all that. It was so hard, like, yeah, I hated that class. I hated that class, man.
Yo, I barely passed, man. I probably got 50 something, man.
Same
I
here, like I
yeah.
barely got through that.
Mm. Okay, now hip hop. So it's kind of touching on the end of Donview days because go ahead and remind me. Tell me, man, because I already know about this. But who DJ'd at one of our dances in Donview?
I remember Ron Nelson, man. Fantastic Voyage program, 88.1. I remember that, man. It was great. I remember when he was there, I was just so excited because the DJ that was playing the music I liked,
Mhm.
that I would listen to every Saturday, was coming to our school to give us a dance. And I was so excited, man. That was amazing.
Yeah, man. He played this little thing called Snowball. I forgot we had to like go in a circle dance. So, well, yeah.
Snowball.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
man, that was
the
good
memories.
times. I remember even after I was with my girlfriend at the time, we were about to leave.
Mm,
And Ron Nelson, he was packing up.
yeah.
And I was there like, "Oh, Mr. Nelson, do you want me to help you get this into your car and stuff?" And my girl's like, "Aren't we gonna go here?" And I'm like, "Yo, it's Ron.
It's
Yo, it's Ron
right.
Nelson. I gotta go help my boy here. This is Ron Nelson. I'll catch you later. I got things to do here, man." But he was great. He was a really nice guy.
Oh man, yeah. I reached out to him to do my podcast, man, when I first started season one, man, because I wanted
Yeah,
to what I wanted to do. I was actually gonna try to do a hip hop documentary too. I started filming it, and
yeah,
I had Dizzy. Remember Dizzy
yeah,
from 88.1, right? Dizzy
yeah,
D.
yeah.
I had him on film, and I was filming some of the artists he was working with. I filmed him DJing, all these things, man. And then when you have to put so much effort into it, and I reached out to some artists too, like Cardinal, all of
Yeah.
them, right? But
Mhm.
it didn't go nowhere. But I wanted Ron to come on because I wanted to do a project with this Real Talk and get Mishi Me and Cardinal and Ron. But if I get up there, people start knowing me more, then I eventually want to do
You'll,
that.
yeah, just keep doing your thing, just keep doing your thing. And I mean, Ron is still doing stuff, he's still DJing. I know he's doing some production. I know he put out an album for himself,
Mhm.
and he's out on social media. So he's still out there doing his thing, which I'm so glad that he's still in the community, still doing his stuff. It's good to see. It's good to see that he's
Yeah.
still going.
Yo, they're staples of the hip hop era in Toronto, man. You know what I mean?
No doubt. I mean,
Hmm.
where did we get our hip hop from? 88.1, it was I think it was like a Saturday afternoon. It started around 12 or 1 o'clock, and it would end at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And
Yeah.
you would get your cassette ready, you'd press play, record, pause, and when all the talking stopped, you would hit that unpause and you get your tracks. And that was our mixtapes, you know what I mean? So that's where
Yeah.
we're getting our hip hop from.
Okay, now I want to ask you. So it was a transition for us, right? So when we were in junior high, public school, whatever, we grew up with the Michael Jackson, Duran Duran, and then there was the Guns N' Roses, Madonna, Prince, Boy George, all those
Yeah.
songs that we liked back in the day. What do you think now were the first artists or even songs that you can name that said, "Hey, this is what I like now. It's like a game changer."
Um, Honestly, for me, it was probably like when during the era of like Eric B and Rakim, Run DMC, you know what I mean? Because before that, it was always kind of that breakdance era where it was hip hop and it was rapping, but it was more for breakdancing. So it had that certain sound to it and style. But to me, it was like when I started seeing when I start seeing Run DMC, when I
Mm,
start seeing Eric B. and Rakim, when
mhm.
I start seeing LL Cool J, Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One, MC Shan, and stuff like that. I can even go back to like kind of Grandmaster Flash. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? We start seeing that. Those are the guys that I really drew towards when I heard their sound, and that was hip hop. And those were the guys that really took me when it came to getting into the whole hip hop sound, the whole hip hop industry itself.
yeah.
So those were my favorites.
Yo, there's something about I don't know, man. I always like all kinds of music, right? But there was something about when hip hop came in. It's the beat. And I'm gonna ask you a question about your post because I see some nice posts with you doing the beats, right? But there's something that hitting with the beat. I always like rhymes, but it's the beat that gets me, right? So
Yeah,
when Lottie Dottie came out, right? Well, we got Slick Rick. You like the
no
rap. It was a
doubt,
nice,
man.
slow,
Of course.
methodical rap, right? But the beat too, and with the
Mhm.
beatbox with Dougie Fresh and stuff, it was
Yeah,
hitting hard, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
what did you like back in the days mostly? Was it the rhymes or the beat, or just talk about it with me?
I think for me, it was a little of both, but I think for me it was more the beats because I was into hip hop. You know what I mean? And it was like I was never into doing the rhymes. Like even to this day, I don't
Yeah.
even consider doing any rhyme. It was
Mm,
always the music. It was always the beats. And when you think of something like Eric being Rockman, do 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 do. I mean, that was just dirty. That was just grimy, and it was always the hard beats and the good bass lines in it and stuff like that. And that's what always drew to me. But of course, to complement those beats, you had to have an MC that
mm,
could complement those kind of hard beats from back in the day, and yeah, that was Rakim, that
mm.
was KRS-One, and to me, especially
Here's
KRS-One,
one.
the
Right.
bridge is over. MC Shan, the bridge, that battle that they had between them, those
Mm,
kind of sounds that were coming out with heavy drums, heavy snare, stuff like that. That for me, it was always the beats.
mm. Let me know. I always tell people I love hip hop, right? But I'm not one of those guys who know every in and out. like I can bring on someone like you. I can bring on Z from my high school days, who was a DJ. And when I used to go to his house and film him DJing, his
Yeah,
record collection spanned like walls, man. Greg
yeah.
Simon, Kevin B, they know their music like tight, and you know your music tight. But when it comes to who made the impact, do you think? Because we had the Slick Ricks and the Dougie Fresh and the Biz Marquis and Big Daddy Kane's and the groups, Karis, Public Enemy and stuff. But
Yeah.
what group actually do you think came in and then started making that wave on the level where there is a fan base, but
Mhm.
also even the politicians and all that stuff started taking notice? Who do you think that band was, or group, or rapper?
Honestly, I do think Run DMC really helped to put hip hop on the map.
Mm,
Not only because of their hard beats and stuff, they some of their music was able to cross over into, you could say, a pop industry where it's not just playing on the urban radio, it's being played on pop radio as well. If you
yeah,
can make that crossover, even if it's obvious this is hip hop music, this is not really dance or rock or anything, that this is hip hop. But if you can make that crossover,
mm,
um, that just brings your career and everything that you do further. So for me in the industry, I really think Run DMC really set a foundation for what hip hop is today. You know what I
yeah,
mean? They had the videos, they had the backing. They Run DMC wasn't just for North America, it was around the world. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Run DMC is known around the world. So they were really a foundation to where hip hop was to what it is today. For me,
yeah.
that's my
No, no, you know what? You're right. Because if I ask any, I didn't even know, student of hip hop, I should say, even people I know, they will say that, because I know that too. But again, the way you backed it up is what someone that really knows hip hop would say. It's Run DMC that was the game changer, because we had the Grandmaster Flash and even Curtis Blow, back in the days. But
no
yeah, Run
doubt.
DMC. But you know who really got my attention
Mm,
was KRS One. So you mentioned
no
KRS One
doubt.
and MC Shan, but
Yeah.
when I was in grade 10, I actually did a paper, an essay on my philosophy with
Oh,
KRS One.
really?
Yeah, man. So I actually dissected his lyrics and I
Mm,
memorized them. And I forgot what I
yeah,
presented on. I had to present, but it was on my philosophy by KRS One, man.
no doubt. I mean, KRS-One is what I'd call, he's up there as rap god. You know what I
Mm,
mean? It's like to this day, KRS-One is still doing stuff,
yeah.
but he's a lot more out in the community now, and he is out in the political community a lot more now. You know what I mean? But when you're talking about building this industry, standing for it, living hip hop, listening to hip hop, believing it, bringing other people up with him, and helping the community of hip hop today. KRS-One, he stands on top of that mountain. He's rap god.
Mm,
If you want to put it that way, as Eminem says, rap god. He is one of them. He is a foundation, straight
facts.
up.
Facts,
Yeah.
man. Facts. And you mentioned LL too. I think a couple times. It's so
Mm,
funny how LL, he wasn't that hardcore rapper, right? I always liked him lyrically, sweet. And
mm.
I Need Love was probably one of our favorite songs. We talk about the slow
No
dance era.
doubt, man. Yeah, man, no doubt. I mean, LL Cool J, he's another one of those rappers where it's like, yeah, you heard him on the urban radio, right? But a
Mm,
song like I Need Love, that was able to cross over into that pop sound. Even what was one of his songs, like one of his later songs, Around the Way Girl.
oh,
That
yeah.
played on every urban radio, but then that was another one that was able to cross over into the pop industry, right?
Mhm,
Where you know, at our time, we were the young people listening to it, but
mhm.
our parents would listen to it and be like, this is kind of a nice song, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? So just for him being able to do that,
Mm,
I put him up there as, yes, one of the rap gods, one of the
yeah,
founding fathers of the hip hop industry, I'd say.
yeah. True. Um, you know that crossover you're talking about? One of the first songs that I heard that crossed over with rap and rock, Run DMC and Aerosmith, right? Walk This Way.
Oh, walk this
Dude,
way.
that video, you remember the video
Yeah.
when they're playing
It was
music in the rooms?
yeah, in the room and they're on one side and the other guy's on the other and they bash through the wall and stuff.
Yeah.
And walk this way. But that was, that was a real pinnacle to show that, you know, hip hop and rock can fit together,
Yeah.
can join together.
Mhm.
They were, and that song, I mean, who doesn't know that song? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Who doesn't
Yeah.
know that song? So, as I said, they're just one of those groups that were able to cross over on platforms and it made a hit during that day. It was the strangest combination that you could think of, but it was successful,
It sounded
and
so good.
yeah, and it made the foundation of what hip hop is today. And when you think of hip hop and rock,
Mm,
you can think of Beastie Boys when they came out,
mm,
and they had this thing where they were using like electric guitar and making hip hop beats to it. And at first they got a lot of flack,
mm.
but over time you got used to their sound and it was good. You know what I mean? Like they are one of those two where they brought in an urban element to with a rock style to it.
Mhm.
And some of the beats that I could say for the Beastie Boys, they made some good freaking music, and it was accepted into hip hop foundations.
Yeah, they're one of the staples. So that's another thing. I wasn't even into the Beastie Boys, but real hip hop connoisseurs and students, Beastie Boys, they'll name as well as Run DMC together. You know
No
what I
doubt,
mean? So
no
yeah.
doubt.
Mm,
They were able to bring a style to hip hop that you, you know people weren't used to, but when they
yeah,
started to hear it and start to hear the talent and their rhyming skill and all that, they were good and they were accepted. You know what I mean? They were
yeah,
accepted. Yeah, you're a part of this. You're hip hop.
yeah.
Um,
Trust, trust. Now let me ask you something. We grew up with East Coast. I can say that, right? We grew up with East Coast hip hop. What do you
yeah.
think about West Coast when we first heard our West Coast come in? I don't know if it was Ice T or NWA. So Ice T, because I think this is now in high school, maybe, but I'm Your Pusher by Ice T. And then when NWA came in, I think that changed the game too. What's your take on the West Coast that came in with the Snoop Dogs and all them?
I loved it. You know what I
Mm,
mean? I loved the rhymes, the stories they'd make in their rhymes. I mean, they weren't talking about a lifestyle that I was living, but
mm,
just hearing the music itself and how it was put together, and it was very militant, especially with like NWA. It was talk about guns and violence and police brutality, and it not only was good music, but it woke up the minds of Black youth.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Which is urban youth themselves, of things that we either saw every day or experienced, and it connected with us, even though we weren't all walking around with weapons on us and stuff like that. A lot of the messages that were coming out of how we were seen in
mm,
these situations, we all could relate to it,
mm,
right? So that's why I thought a lot of that West Coast was good, because there were some things that we could relate with it,
yeah.
even though we weren't doing the gunplay and stuff, or the drug selling or anything like that. We were able to relate to the music. But I always loved the West Coast. NWA Killers, Snoop Dogg, all of them, Dre, all that sound. I love it, yo. It's
Yo,
it's another foundation in hip hop, yo.
trust me, Too Short, right? He's from the West, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no doubt, yo.
yeah. And of course, we grew up watching much music in Canada, in Toronto, down by Queen Street. One of the things I look forward to watching on Saturdays because the artists would come down and perform live. You know what I'm talking about? Electric Circus, right?
Electric Circus. Yeah, man, that was a great show, yo. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, for that
Yeah.
time, it was nice to see, man. You know what I mean? It was
Well, it was good
exciting.
to see that we actually had a platform that the artists that we like to watch and
Mm,
see can come there and do a performance, and you can either go downtown and watch it through the windows, or you just put it on TV and you watch it. So it was a good platform for us to have for
mm.
for the hip hop and hip hop industry.
Yeah. In a minute, I'm gonna ask you about this because a lot of people don't know that you dance for a Toronto rap artist, right? So we're gonna get in that to a minute because there's a bunch of questions that I don't know that I'm excited to ask you because I don't know your experience with that. But before we get into that, there's four main movies. When you talk about hip hop, rap, the rap game, you know, the elements of hip hop is your graffiti, the MC, the DJ, and the graph arts, right? Did I say graffiti already?
Yeah.
DJ, MC,
Yeah.
the breakdancing. Sorry, I missed that one.
Yeah.
But there's four main movies, and I listed them here, man. I want to know if you watched all four because I jumped onto the kind of poppy one early. So when I say
Yeah.
pop, it's more mainstream. It was breaking. My parent, my dad took me and my brother to break it, right?
Yeah,
Breaking
man.
one, break
Yeah,
it
man.
two. But I later learned about Crush Groove,
Fresh
Beat
Groove,
Street, and
Beat
Wild
Street,
Style.
Wild Style. Yeah, man. I
Yeah.
remember all of those.
Did you watch all of them in their
Yeah.
time or did you
Yeah,
watch it
man. I
later?
watched
Oh.
those, man. I mean,
Mm,
because, I was breakdancing. Me and Mikey, we were partners in breakdancing. So we would watch breakdance videos. We'd watch the breakdance movies and stuff
mm.
like that. Yeah, man, we were all into those movies. Crush Groove, especially Beat Street. Beat Street was probably one of my favorite out of those main
Mm.
series of movies in there. Beat Street was always my favorite.
Yeah,
But
you
yeah,
know,
we were all into that.
yeah, but Beat Street's the one with the sad ending, right? Like it was about
Yeah,
the graffiti, that guy doing the graffiti on the trains and
yeah,
stuff, and then
yeah.
something happened at the end, right? Like kind of hit me being
Um,
that young, man.
it's been a long time since I've
Yeah,
seen that
I
film.
think he died. He died
Yeah, I
in
think
it.
so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, but it was weird seeing that at a young age. I'm like, wow, it was a great movie to see the perspective because it was New York, I believe. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
Showed a
yeah,
lot of culture, the hip hop culture, the hip hop industry. And that was, some of that was, it was breakdancing and just moving out of it to where this more solidified hip hop sound was coming. You know what I mean? So
mhm.
we were all growing up through that and listening to the music, and we were all listening to the same music. And those movies, Breaking One, Breaking Two, Electric Boogaloo,
Boogaloo.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, we grew up on that stuff, so it was just a part of us. You know what I mean? We learned how to break dance from those kind of movies and stuff like that, right? So that
man.
was some special times. Yeah,
Popping
special
and
times.
locking, popping and
Yeah,
locking.
man.
Yo, hey, now this is gonna lead into the next question about you dancing for this artist. But what is your take on the background dancers for hip hop artists? What did that mean to hip hop?
Um, well, when that started to come in, you know what I mean, where you would have your MC, you have your DJ, and you had your dancers. I mean, it was a show, you know what I mean? Like
Mm,
you could go up on stage and you could be, a rapper by yourself, you have your DJ in the background. But it was the show. So you always had your dancers. They put on the show. You'd get all the new fresh moves and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I thought it was an important part of the show after a while, and it seemed like after a certain amount of time that became the thing where if you're doing shows or videos and stuff like that,
mm,
you would have your backup dancers showing off the new moves and choreography and stuff like that. So I think it played an important role and it was fun, and the
yeah.
time that I did it with Top Secret it was fun for one because I was doing it with actual friends of mine, like
Mhm.
D George, so it was as I said, it was fun. It was good to do.
Yeah.
It was an
Yeah. But
important factor after a while,
it
especially in videos, like even down to like Heavy D and the boys, you know what I mean? It was Heavy D and his boys in the background. They were doing the dance moves. And where did we get all our dance moves from? Watching these videos and seeing their moves, and we'd take it to the dance floor ourselves.
yeah. I was just gonna say that, eh? I was gonna talk about Big Daddy Kane had Scoop and Scrap, I believe, his two
Yeah,
dancers. But yo,
yeah.
do you remember when Heavy D's one of his dancers died? They lost
Uh,
something or
uh,
something, man.
what was his name? They did a song about it.
Yeah, I can't
I can't
remember.
remember, but I
Yeah.
do remember. Yeah, when he lost one of his dancers.
Yeah, that was sad, man.
Bad times.
Mhm. Okay. Before I get into the question, I'm gonna hit you with the would you rather question that I do on Real Talk. But
Mm.
I'm gonna let people know what I'm gonna talk to you about. So Top Secret, was that the guy's name or the group, like
That was just kind of the group name.
the
The
group
the
name?
guys, the guy that was rapping, his name was Ryan,
Okay, so
right?
Ryan, the group was
Mhm.
Top Secret, and you
Yeah.
were one of three dancers. I thought it was only you and Mikey
No, it was me, Mikey, and George.
and George. So you were one of three dancers for Top Secret. And the song that people know if they're from Toronto was Don't Make Me Mad, Son, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a minute. But let me ask you this would you rather question, Phil.
Mm.
Would you rather visit your younger self and give them advice for the future? Or would you rather visit your older self and have them give you advice for what's going on right now?
I would think I would rather visit my younger self and give him a little advice, but not enough to really change a lot of the future that I know today. You know what I mean? But I probably would have told him, to get a little more serious into your music, into what you want to do. Because a lot of those times back then, I had it in my mind of, I wish I could DJ, wish I could um, do studio production and stuff like that, like make beats. It was one thing that I always wanted to do. So I think my advice to him, if I could go back, was to say, keep following that, push a little harder, right? That's some of
Mm,
the advice I'd give. So that's what I do. I'd go back and give myself a little more advice, give me
wow.
myself a little push.
Yo, man, I love asking this question because I hear a lot of different perspectives. But you just said something that I haven't heard before. Give a little advice, but not a lot to change. I like that. Um, that makes a lot of
Definitely,
sense. You know what I
because when
mean?
I look back on things, I mean, a lot of, you do a lot of things in life for a purpose, you know what I mean? But I do remember during those times of me saying to myself, I wish I could do this, like, or I know, like, I remember when the guys used to get together and used to rhyme and stuff, they'd always come to me and say, yeah, Philly, you got to do the beatbox, you
Mm,
know? So
mm,
I'd always be doing the beatbox for my friends that knew how to rhyme.
yeah.
But I always thought, I wish I could just make these sounds from what I'd hear from music and videos, right? So
Mm,
that was always I always, that was what I wanted the most to do. I wanted to produce, I wanted to make the music.
yeah. Damn, Phil.
Yeah.
Phil, yeah, when you touch on this, I think I said it in one of my other podcasts when I got to this question. I wish someone was there to push me into certain things, you know what I mean?
No doubt.
But I didn't have that push, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
crazy. I got to tell you, when I did comedy, there's a couple of comedians that helped me out though, that guided me. But I wish that the sports thing, you know what I mean? Like I could have did stuff with my vertical back in the days I didn't know. You can
Yeah.
have a channel right now and showing yourself doing things and making money and doing, but I didn't know what you could do. I didn't know I was fast too in school.
Yeah.
I didn't have someone to train me. Like you could run track.
No
Someone
doubt.
trained me properly to be faster. But yeah, I like what you said there. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Hmm.
these next four questions, it didn't matter if my guest chose younger self or older self. I want to see what you say to your younger self. What would you tell your younger self about money?
About money. Honestly, it's kind of like what I say to my son now. I said, there's a time to save it and there's a time to spend it,
Mm,
meaning that when we were kids, we get money. The first thing, we'd think is, what do we want to buy? You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I wasn't always thinking of, saving money and buying things that maybe were more important that could do something, could benefit from you. I just wanted to go out and get the new kicks or the new stylish clothes or whatever. I was going out here and there. I would have put that more in his mind was I would tell him, I'd say, look, you got money coming in, whatever it is, you got a little job on the side, you're doing your thing. There's a time to spend it, and then there's a time to save it. And I think
Mm,
that would probably be the most important thing I would say to my younger self. I could go back and say it to
mm. Yo, that was good. That was good. What would you tell your younger self about family?
I would say, from what I know, I would say to him, you think what's going on in your life is important, which to you it probably is, but you don't realize how important family is. Family, family and friends. It's almost unfortunate that it takes to when you get older to realize how important friends and family is to everything else that is out there. That we all know we have to work. We all know we have things that are important that has to be done. This and that. We just to me, it really changed when my son was born.
Mm,
It really made me say to myself, yeah, like this is what's really important. Good family, good friends,
mm,
love for one another. That's what it's about. That's life. If you don't have that in your life, then I don't know how you're making it through,
mm,
without friends and family, people that are there for you and you're there for them, really makes you see what is important in this world. You can have all the money you want. You could have all the fame that you can get. You could walk down the street and have everybody know who you are. But it means nothing when you don't have family and real true friends to share that with,
mm.
to be with you, to see you for who you really are. You know, that's what I think. That's what I'd say.
Yo, that was a good one. That was a good one. And the next one was friends, but you answered that. So I understand where you're going with that. So the last one is, what would you tell your younger self about love?
Um, One thing I tell them is like love is probably not going to come around once. You're going to have love. You're going to fall in love many a times. I would tell him that when you feel it, when you see it, you'll know it's love. Um, sometimes sometimes love will play with you. Sometimes it won't. It's something, honestly, it's like what can you say? It's like it's something that you have to experience and just
Mm,
you just know it in here when it's real to when it's not. Um, it's important to everybody. Everybody wants to give love. Everybody wants to feel it.
mm,
So just, I would tell my younger self, be genuine with it when you do feel love for somebody, and be ready for it because it's not going to come around one time. You're going to be in love many times. Just make sure it's with the right
mm. Yo, you got through it.
people.
Yo, thanks for that, man. Good, good. All
No
right.
problem.
Now, Top Secret, Don't Make Me Mad, Son was a song. Okay, so I believe this was 1990. You can correct me on that, but I don't think we were in Donview. I think you were in George S. and I was in VP. But of course, we heard about Phil and Mikey. I didn't know George. Maybe
Yeah.
if I recollect, I would know. But all we heard is you're dancing for this guy, and then we see you in a video, and I'm like, give me the lowdown on that, man. Give me the lowdown.
I think from what I remember, um, Mikey knew Ryan,
Okay.
right? And knew him and knew he was doing music. And he said to me that he wanted some dancers in a video that he
Mhm.
was doing. So we went down to see him at his apartment. He turned on some music. Me and Mikey showed off some moves and stuff like that. And he was just kind of like, yeah, okay, cool. We're going to use you. Do you have anybody else? So we called in George. Um, we just got together the same thing, show him some more moves. So he gave us a copy of the song, so we had to go back and actually put a full routine to it, right?
Mm.
So basically, that's just kind of how it started. We just met up. We met with the DJ Raphael, also named as his name, his DJ name was DJ Cross,
Mm.
and we just kind of banded together. And they already had the song. We went out for the video. I think it took a day or two to do. It
Okay.
was long hours. It was long hours. It was clips after clips after clips. You know what I mean? Like coming in, okay, we're doing this scene, we're doing that scene, but we enjoyed it. We had a good time during Top Secret. It was fun. We got some flack for it. We got some people hailed us for it, but we weren't really in control of the music aspect of it. We were
Yeah.
just in control of being ready with the dance part of it for the
Yeah.
shows and stuff like that. So we had a good time. It was fun.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you though, thanks for letting me because I didn't know how it started. Did you? Because I remember seeing it on Much Music, like it was playing, right? And it's
Yeah.
still on now. People can find it. But did you perform places and stuff? And how did it feel when you seen yourself on TV back in the days? That was back in the days, man.
Well, it was good. I mean, there was a point in time where it was just like I would go to Fairview Mall and I felt like I was being stared at all the time and stuff, and people knew who I was, and
Yeah.
I'd be just sitting around with Mikey and us, and we'd be eating some McDonald's or something like that, and we get people like, "Aren't you guys the guys from Top Secret?" and all that kind of stuff. So,
Mm,
it's not like we had some huge fame, but we had local fame. You know what I mean? And it was fun. It was cool. You know what I mean? And that's all I could say. It was just going places, people knowing who you were.
mhm.
We performed at schools. We performed at Ontario Place. We performed at clubs. Um, and it was good. We got most of the time we got a pretty good response. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I remember actually performing at one spot where the there was I can't remember who the singer was. It was this girl, and she got utterly booed off. Like she tried to finish one of her songs and she got booed. So we're sitting here thinking, oh crap, like what
Yeah.
is this crowd like?
Mhm.
But when we got up on there, it was always girls were cheering and guys were dancing to it, and it was kind of a dancey hip hop sound. So guys were doing the latest moves and stuff like that. So
Mm.
it was good. We had a good time. It was
Yo,
fun.
so full circle though. When when you were performing and you were on Much, did you get to circle back to the Mishi Me's? I don't even know if my show was out.
Not really. We were more around like Kish and Brothers
Kish.
from the Ghetto
Oh,
and people like that, like
yeah.
during that era, right? Mishi
Hmm.
Me with like Jamaican funk and stuff, that
Yeah.
was before us, right? That
Okay.
was before us.
Mm.
So we got to meet them a few times. Like we got to meet Maestro, Mishi Me. Cardinal wasn't out at that time.
Yeah.
I don't think he was out during those times, but sometimes there would be big shows where a lot of performers were going on. So it would be all of them. So we'd be hanging out all together in the back, and then we'd all take our turns doing our shows. And then sometimes we would hang out after the fact,
Mm.
right? We would just go to, run over to Pizza to grab some pizza, and it'd be all of us. So we'd have a whole bunch of like a whole bunch following of girls around us watching us through the window as we're just sitting there eating pizza. So it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, shoot, man. Um, when you just dropped Kish's name, man, I'm like, me and my brother were talking about him the other day, but we were just going over some of the Toronto artists now, man.
Yeah,
So who were you feeling? And it's so weird the connections, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah,
Maestro, Kevin B did something with Maestro back in the days when he was coming up.
yeah.
Um, but who did you feel back in the days then on the Canadian side? Because there was a lot of talent here, but they weren't known. You know that Drake level now, right? Drake
Yeah,
blows up here,
exactly.
boom, gone. But
Like, of course, I was listening to Maestro.
hmm,
Of course, I was listening to Mishi Me. Jamaican funk. I remember from Jamaican funk, it had two different mixes to it, right?
yeah,
It had a kind of radio play mix, and then it had a real kind of more hip hop sound to it,
hmm,
right? But I think it was really those kind of guys that I watched. I mean, who doesn't remember Let Your Backbone Slide? I mean, it was a huge hit here in Canada and in the main cities that promoted that song. I mean, it was a huge hit. And
hmm,
I mean, we were all just coming out of breakdancing to this more kind of hip hop dance that was going on, right? So when Let Your Backbone Slide came out, I mean, that was the theme song. When that song came on in the club, or
yeah,
that song came on you know, at school dance, I mean, everybody broke out onto the dance floor, right? So it's unfortunate that at that time more couldn't come out, and I know there was some other, as time went by, there was some more other rap groups that came out,
yeah,
but it's only really now to where it's like Drake and Cardinal and stuff like that that we those guys have really put Canada and Toronto and stuff like that on the map of good hip hop artists coming out of here. Like we do have some talent, you
Mm.
know. I
There's
mean,
so
in our
many,
day,
man.
yeah, there was so
There's
many,
so
man.
many. Choclair, Socrates. There's so many names, even groups. But my mind again, I keep forgetting, and I'm not that
No doubt.
student. You know what I mean? But there's so many names that were
Like I
talented.
would say who you mentioned there, Socrates, like
Mm,
he was to me, he was a major talent when it came to doing hip hop music and stuff like that. But we're in Canada getting that push out of getting that push out there. And
mm.
when America just dominated the hip hop industry, it was hard for others to, from other countries and stuff that were good, had good product to really get out there. But that's just how it was at the time. We got our hip hop from the States.
Yeah,
Anything else, if you didn't sound like the States, it wasn't the same. You might have liked it, you might have promoted it, you might have enjoyed it, but it didn't come out as much as hip hop in the States.
yeah. And you know what? When you talk about sound now, one last question I want to ask you about this too. I think I liked everything. So
Mm,
when Common came out, I liked the hard beat, right? And
mm,
then just the lyrical flow where people just have crazy rhymes, right? But then when I heard Common, and I'm like, yo, this intelligent and everything's coming out like so smooth. I'm like, that guy. But De La Soul too. It's
yeah.
like I loved hearing the different genres of hip hop, if you could say that, the different styles, different flows. I loved hearing it all, man. So I don't know if you were into the De La Soul too, and the Roots. I can't remember the name that the Jungle Brothers. Remember all that with Queen
And
Latifah?
I still listen to the Jungle Brothers today, man. I listen
Mm,
to that stuff today. Like there's one thing that I find, and this is of course my opinion again. One thing I find unfortunate about the era of rap that we hear today to our era
mm,
is that yes, we had so many different flavors of hip
mm,
hop. We had hip hop that was, as I would say, it was militant. We had hip hop that was, you know, N-word, gunplay, drugs, violence, all that. We had hip hop that was jazzy. We had hip hop that was smooth. We had hip hop that was a little more on the R&B tip, but you still had rap in it. Like there was so much to choose from. And not only that, it was you could tell by a song that came out by De La Soul. You could tell by the way a song came out by Tribe Called Quest. The
mm.
flavor of the song, you know what I mean? It was style. Like you would hear a song come out, and I could say that's DJ Premier, or that's Pete
Yeah,
Rock, or that's
yeah,
this and that. And there was so many flavors. Public Enemy was political and all that, and you knew the hard, grimy beats that they did was needed for them because it sent a message out there. Tribe had this jazzy, nice flow to it. It was smooth, but it was still hip hop. And I find that missing out of this era of what I call rap music. I
mm,
call this era of stuff rap music. I know it's a branch off the core trunk and root of hip hop, but I don't call it hip hop. I
mm,
call it rap or whatever they call it today, drill and trap and all
mm.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Hip hop to me is the boom bap,
mm,
right?
mm,
So that's what I find that's missing out of the music that I hear today. Like I work with a lot of young guys, right?
mm.
So they listen to today's music.
Yeah,
And sometimes literally it just sounds like the same music over and over. Like they're all coming out of the same studio, making a variation of the same beat. And there's no variety.
yeah,
There's no variety out there. And I could be wrong because I'm a 50-year-old man now and I'm into the boom bap hip hop and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
it. It could be that, or I listen to it all day and sometimes I'm kind of like, do you have anything different that you can play?
yeah,
You know?
yeah,
And
yeah.
the things that they think are different, it just sounds the same to me. So
Mm.
that's what I enjoyed about our era of hip hop.
Yeah, you can't beat it, man. It can't be. I know
Yeah.
I sound like an old head too when I talk sometimes, you know what I mean? But yeah, man. And you mentioned the last thing I'll say is you mentioned a couple of DJs. What did it mean to you with the breakout of the DJ? So when we watched a rapper rapping his DJs in the back, and then all of
Mm,
a sudden a DJ's on his own, and now you got the trick DJs, fast forward, right? We've seen it all. The trick DJs, their own competitions, and the DJs know a lot more now.
Right.
What's your opinion on that? And what did that mean to you? Because I like how there was a focus on the DJ. You know what I mean?
The DJ, okay, for one, I mean, the DJ would put your track on so you could do your rhyming, you know? It
Mm,
had the skill of the scratching and stuff. It just became foundational. It's the rapper and his DJ. You were partners, you were a group, you know what I mean? You needed your DJ. It was part of the culture. It was important, you know what I mean? It's something that the DJ helped get your music out there, you
mm,
know what I mean?
mm,
And I found it necessary to have. And even to this day, you know, you got rappers, they always have a DJ. It's like it's just part of the culture. I mean, you have your MC, you gotta have your DJ holding down your music and the cutting and scratching and stuff like that. It's just part of the culture. It's necessary. You know what I
mm,
mean? It's hip hop. That's what it is. It's hip hop. And the way they've taken it now to the skill that comes behind it to these days, the way that if you ever watch Jazzy Jeff sometimes puts out videos of him just going at it, and I'm just like these guys have taken it beyond just working for your MC or your rapper that you with. This is a skill, and you're making music out of it, combining the two turntables and the records that you put on there and the different kind of cutting and scratching you can do. I mean, these guys are doing some crazy stuff, and it's part of the culture.
mm.
You know, it's
Yeah.
part of the culture. That's
It
it.
it's amazing to watch too. 'Cause, you just mentioned Jazzy Jeff. It's so funny when you hear about Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff. We know Will Smith from Parents Just Don't Understand. From this was Downview Days, I think, when that first came out, or maybe grade 10. But
Yeah.
and you knew Jazzy Jeff in the back, but we didn't even know what Jazzy Jeff really was. You know what I mean? Until I learned, like, oh, he's a DJ, like crazy
He's,
and respected.
and
You know what I mean? Holy.
even now, I mean, he's gone beyond just DJing to producing, and
Mm,
he's doing he like the competition in scratching and DJing and stuff. I mean, he's there just to promote it and to let him go up, and he'll be doing his thing, and everybody's just getting blown away by it. Like I've got some some records from him where he's not just doing hip hop, he's doing house music,
mm.
certain kind of dance style music and stuff like that. Like he has gone beyond what we knew him from, the Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff. You know what I mean? We loved him from there, but he's beyond that now, man.
Yeah.
He's a producer, straight
Mm,
up producer now. He's not just a cutting and scratch DJ.
yeah. Big time. Big time.
Yeah,
All right. Um, yo, you know what I'm doing today? I'm gonna ask you about you making beats, but for my donation, I'm gonna let people know that are gonna watch this too, right? Sometimes I play a game, like I played Pac-Man and donated a certain amount. I played Galaga, donated a certain amount.
yeah,
This is on you. I did it with my boy Jimmy Z. So me and Jimmy Z were talking about wrestling, and I had 10 questions for him. And if
yeah.
he answered 8 out of the 10 questions, I would donate $50 to that charity that you pick. I got
All
10 rap hip hop questions for you.
right,
If
all
you
right.
get 10 of the 8 of them right,
Mm,
I will donate $50 to the charity you pick
all
today.
right, all right.
Okay, but first, a lot of the posts I see of you, man, I like watching it. So I seen the post with you and your son all the time playing video games and doing all these things. It's enjoyable to watch. But I
Mm.
really look forward to you on a beat machine and you're just hitting me with some beats. When did you start making beats? And I know you were talking about when I asked you that question about
Mm.
what would you tell your younger self and stuff. And like you would say, like, this is what you could do. And where's the beat making now? When did you start? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, in my mid to late 20s, I actually went to school for a year, right, to
Mm,
really learn um, how these things were done, like how beats were put together. So after I came out of that, during that time, I bought which I can't remember the name of the beat machine, but it was in this other kind of beat machine that I made, and I was putting beats together. And from there, that was like in probably my late 20s. Into my early 30s, I started doing stuff on a program called Fruity Loops. I think
remember
everybody's been
fully.
on that
Yeah.
program, Fruity Loops, right?
Yeah.
But life hits you. You have to work. You got to do stuff for things that are important. My son came into my life at one point, and at that point, I had to set things down for a little while because my son needed my attention. I needed to be a father, so I had to put things to a side. My son is older now,
Mm,
so he's got his friends. He's doing his own online stuff, gaming, whatever, whatnot, right? So I thought to myself, hey, like I want to get back into stuff that I used to enjoy. And one thing I always enjoyed was making beats. So on TikTok, I was seeing a lot of guys with their beat machines, their MPCs, and they were putting it up and putting out beats. And I was like, at first, I was kind of like, what is this machine that everybody's using? So when I used to look at some of the comments, they said the MPC. So I looked it up. Um, and just to see, I looked up videos to see what it was about, how people were using it and stuff. And I was like, yo, like, this is what I want to do. So up, I bought one.
mm,
And I already knew a lot about music and parameters and effects and stuff like that. Basically, with the MPC that I have now, I just had to learn where to find it all and
mm,
how to use it. So after I bought it, opened it up, set it all up, I went onto YouTube and I just looked up MPC1, how to make a beat. And basically, it just started from there.
mm.
And I always had the ability to put one together. I just needed to know how to do it on this machine.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot to learn I have on this machine, but once I got going, I was just like, all right, I'm back into this again. I can do this again. You know what I mean? And I enjoy it. You know, I just love making beats, like love making hip hop. And it's just been a part of me for so long. You know, I still search up hip hop music. You know what I
Mm,
mean? I'm on Spotify, so I still search up hip hop music and see what's happening, see who's still out there. One of my, one of my favorite producers is Premier, DJ Premier. I love the way he does hip hop. I love the way how he takes samples and puts them together into these dirty, grimy beats. I love how he makes beats for the specific artist that he's working with, right? So it's always something that I've enjoyed, and now I'm just getting back into it, and I love it. I just love doing music, and I love just putting it out there, just sharing it. Just as I always say, just keeping hip hop alive.
yes, man. It's your passion, man. I can
Yeah,
tell.
it's my
Yeah.
passion. I mean, today what we're hearing all this trap and drill, I
Mm,
get why this is the thing right now. It's the younger people of this age. This is their sound,
mm,
but our old sound from the 90s is still out there and people are still doing stuff. And
mm,
I'm finding that people are jumping on the bandwagon again of having real beats, real rhymes, you know what I
mm.
mean? And real poetic flow to hip hop music, you know what I mean? So I just enjoy it, and it's been part of my life and I'm just gonna keep going.
There you go. Yo, thanks for letting me know that. Yo, Phil, this has been good. We're almost done.
All right, all right.
This, okay, this is to do with the donation, and then I'm going to ask you the real talk question. Yo,
Okay.
Phil, the charity depends on you. 8 out of 10, man. 8 out of 10. I'm donating
All
fifty
right. I'll
dollars.
do my best.
yo, you know I didn't make it that hard, but we'll see. 8 out of 10. First question: name two rap artists who always wear shades. And this
um
is back in our days, you know.
Heavy D used to
Mm,
always wear shades.
mm.
Um, always wear shades. Oh, Kumo D.
Yo, this guy. Yo. Yo, I know there must have been more, but
Yeah.
those are the two that first come to my mind. So, yo, I
Yeah,
was
man.
worried. I was worried for a minute, man. All right, you got that one. Next question. Snoop Dogg song Gin and
Gin and juice.
yeah. He's like, that was too easy. Is it just juice?
Gin and juice, man.
All right. Question number three. Hmm. What popular haircut did the background dancers and the hip hop artists have back in the days? And you must have had it too. I don't know.
A cameo.
This guy, man. These are too easy. It looks like $50 is coming, man.
Cameo,
The
man.
box cut cameo. Yo,
Yeah,
some
man.
people had it high up, man.
No doubt, man. I reached mine up there. One time I had it. I reached mine up for there for a little while,
Yeah,
and then I brought in the dread.
yeah. When did you start growing the locks?
Um, it's been 30 years. It was
Wow.
when I was 20. I
Yeah.
put in my dreads when they were like this big.
Mm.
Yeah, 30
Y-
years.
Yo, I gotta tell you, you got before I go to the next question, you got me. One post you posted you bald, right? And then I was like, what is this guy
Uh,
doing to me? What are you
I
doing to me,
saw
man?
that filter and I was laughing when I was looking at it, right? And I was just like, I'm just gonna put this out there and just see what happens, right? And let me
Yeah,
tell you, I put the picture out and I
yeah,
just set my phone and my notifications were off, going off, and I'm like, I'm laughing, you know what I mean? Because all I did was I had to tie my hair back so you wouldn't be able to see the rest of it, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I just tied my hair back, and yeah, it came out me looking bald, and I mean everybody said something about that. Like people were like, "Oh my God, you cut it and this and that." I was laughing all day, man. It was just going off all day. It was hilarious.
Wait, I can't remember. How long did you wait to say, you can't believe everything you
I
see?
think
Or
it was, I think it was a little. It was either the next day or later in the night. I just
Mm,
put out another picture of myself saying, like, you can't believe everything you see.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, some people like text me back like, "Oh my God, thank you. I couldn't believe I thought you really did."
All right, next question. So right now you're at three, right? Question four. What what Canadian artist sang Jamaican funk Canadian style? Jesus. This is too easy, man. 50 bucks is coming, man. Okay, that's four right? Number five. Come on, Peter, man. You said this in the interview in the podcast. Who sang Let Your Backbone Slide?
Maestro
Too
French
easy,
fry.
too easy. That's five. Next one. Oh, you know it, but let's see. Name the rap group Busta Rhymes was in before he went solo.
Leaders of the new school.
This guy is hitting today.
Man, I listened to Leaders of the New School today. I
Yeah,
listen to it to this day, man.
it still gets me hyped, man.
Yeah, man.
Especially when Busta comes in, like Charlie Brown, Dinko D. But when Busta comes in,
Busta comes in, yeah, no doubt, man.
uh-oh. I don't know, Phil. I don't know. Name seven members of Wu-Tang Clan.
Inspector Deck, um, Old Dirty Bastard, the RZA, the Jizza, um, oh, that's four. Um, You God, Ghostface Killer. How many I got?
Six.
Six. Uh, Um, um, oh, oh, Raekwon.
Ah, he got it. Yo, he got it.
Oh man.
Yo, you're killing it. That's seven. Now it's just one more, and I'm donating $50. But there's
All
three
right.
more questions, so now you can relax
All right.
because you'll get one of them. You'll get all of them probably. Um, whose career did 50 Cent derail?
Derail.
I just want to be nice. When beef was around, who did he derail? I could say he ended his career, but this guy's still making music, whatever, and all that stuff. But you know about the beef days?
I don't know.
Oh,
Or maybe I know. I'm just not thinking of it. Derailed somebody.
you can say ended. People you say, yo, he ended his career. But let me know if you just give up. I'll tell you.
I can't think of it. I can't think of it.
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, did
I
you watch those beef movies? I think it
I've
was
heard about
or
those.
DVD.
I didn't know
Oh.
about that. I
But
didn't
you
know
don't
about
know
that.
when 50 came in though. They were going at it. 50 and Ja Rule. Jeez. And 50
I
just
can't
ended his career, man.
I can't remember that.
Mm.
Because I like some of 50 stuff. Ja Rule, I liked some of his stuff.
Mm.
I found that with Ja Rule, a lot of his stuff was just more for, the clubs and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, a lot of that stuff. But I
Mm.
didn't know about that. I
Yeah,
didn't know.
man. Yeah, it was big. It
But
was big.
I know the beefs that you're talking about and stuff
Yeah.
like that, right? I know those
Mm.
shows. Yeah.
Okay. Now you scaring me, man. Number
All right,
nine.
give me another one.
You know this one though, man. What group sang "Ring the Alarm"?
Ring the alarm, as in.
Oh my God, Phil, what's going on?
Hang on a minute. Because when I think of Ring the Alarm, I think of the reggae song, right?
Oh
Ah,
my
wait,
God,
wait.
Phil,
Um, I can't think of it, man.
are you serious?
I'm
Oh, this is looking more
serious, yo.
serious.
Because
This,
because as I said, when I think of Ring the Alarm, I think of the
I
reggae
know,
song.
I know. Well, if I named it, I'm so that's another one wrong, Phil. When I name
Ah,
it, let me know if you know. Fushnikins, man.
yeah, I know who the Fushnik is. Yeah, I know
Ring
where you're
the
coming.
alarm, and now the sound is dying.
Yeah,
Phenomenon one, phenomenon two, phenomenon three. Come
yeah.
follow me. Okay, yo, Phil, you're
Okay,
disappointing the people.
I'm sorry,
No,
man.
don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Ready?
Okay,
You
one
have
more,
to get
one.
this. You have this. Is the
Okay,
last question. If you
all
get
right,
this, $50 to the charity.
all right.
You have to know this. What DJ died tragically in 2002?
What DJ died drastically in 2002?
Tragically in 2002.
DJ. I can't remember, man.
Are you serious?
That's
Oh
serious.
no!
Wait.
Forget about the
I
year, man. Forget about the year. What DJ died that we know from a rap group, man?
no. Um, is it a DJ from our era, from the
Bro,
90s and
yes,
stuff?
bro, yes.
God, I can't remember, yo.
Forget
I
about the
can't.
year. You know that you know what DJ died, man. I want to donate $50, man. You know the DJ.
Oh,
The DJ from a group.
I can't remember, yo. Yeah, I remember.
When I
What
say
is,
this. So it looks
um,
like I'm donating a small amount today. I'm gonna tell you the name. I just gonna okay, so I'm not donating $50. Yeah, you hear that? You hear that
I'm so
balloons?
sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
Whoever it is, it's not $50. Don't worry, man. You did good. Okay, let me give you some hints now. So
Okay,
you
give me
mentioned this group when we were talking. One of the originators. Come on, G. Come on.
DJ guy.
From a three-member group, and he was the DJ, two rappers. One of the originating. You talked about this whole podcast, bro.
I can't think of it, yo. Who
Run
is it? Who is it?
DMC. Run DMC. Jam Master
Oh,
Jay.
Jam Master Jay. Oh, yes. Oh, God damn. Like, I remember that. I was so freaking upset when that happened too.
Mm,
Oh, you're right, man. I should have known that. I should have known
yeah.
Jam Master Jay. Yo. Yeah, man. That was a terrible situation. And I don't even know if they figured that out yet on who killed him or not.
Bro, I
I
saw
don't know.
documentaries on it, and you never know about things, but there's
Yeah,
documentaries on it on YouTube, and yo,
yeah.
it's sad, man.
That was a sad moment. I
Mm,
couldn't believe that happened. And it's something that utterly shouldn't have happened.
yeah.
It's like I know that I couldn't see him involved in anything that would put him in that position to be killed.
Mm,
Like that was a sad situation. Yeah, that's something I should have remembered. Sorry.
yeah.
I'm
No, I
sorry.
just see. I don't know if it was the way it was worded, or that's why I said, okay, forget about the year. And we were just talking about DJs, right? Because sometimes when I think of Jay, I
Yeah,
don't think of DJ like a DJ, like you know what I mean?
yeah,
So I thought that was
yeah.
throwing you off. Um, but yeah,
No, I
Jam
should have
Master Jay,
I
man.
should have remembered that. Like because I remember that day clearly.
Mm. No
Yeah.
worries, man. All right, last question before we do the bloom pop.
All right.
This last question I'm going to read out by what you want me to choose. Do you want me to read out the Blue Jays or the Raptors?
The Raptors.
Okay. What is one of the most memorable moments of your life?
One of the most memorable moments of my life,
Mm.
honestly, and I already spoke about it, is when my son was born,
Mm.
right? That time in my life when my son was born changed me completely. Just how I saw the world, how I saw myself. I had a lot of fears and doubts about myself during those times, and when he was born, it really made me realize a lot of the stuff that I was fearing in my life that I felt that was concerning really meant nothing. I got rid of a lot of fears that I had when he was born, and you could say just fully became the man that I am today. You know, I work hard, I play hard, I do the things that I like. I spend time with my son. That is the most memorable moment in my life. Holding in in my arms and looking down on him, nothing else can top that.
Bam.
Right?
Yes, Phil, man. Yo, this has been a wicked podcast. You know what I'm
Yeah,
doing for season 8? I'm
what?
keeping the podcast under like 40 minutes. I try to, right?
Yeah.
But for this one, I know we went way over because I wanted to, man. I wanted to,
'Cause,
man. Like
I mean, we
I
got history. We got so
we got
much to talk about, man.
I
Like,
know.
it's good seeing you. As I
Mm.
said, I'm glad that you're doing this show. I try to peep it as much as I can and watch the little clips that you put out there and stuff like that. We family, yo, man, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thank you, man. And that's one thing you said. One thing you just said that there, the family, like everybody from my old school, Donview and VP, they're so supportive of me. Even people, I'm gonna drop two names: Vula Maragos, Tula Tasonis. I know Tula is
Yeah,
cousins with Tony Tasonis, but a
yeah,
lot of these older um people we know, we were in grade 7 when we came in, they were in grade 8 or 9.
yeah.
They look at my videos, they support, I reach out to them and stuff. It's kind of cool, man.
Yeah, man. It's just
Family, man.
the area we were all in. The whole like Georges Henry, Fenlon, Masonettes, Roywood, Fenside, Brookbanks, VP, all that area. Like we all grew up in that area, so it's just like it's nice that we can all connect. We're all still, some of us are still in the area, you know what I mean? And we're just able to share our lives and be happy, you know?
Trust me, man. Trust me. Yo,
Okay.
it's been a pleasure. Now we're gonna do the donation though.
All
So
right.
by my hands, I'll find out who I'm donating to. It's Claus, Kawartha Lakes Animal Wellness Society. It's the fundraiser warriors for little boys, raising money for great things like sick kids, and Make a Wish Foundation. So do you want me to pop the left, the middle, or the right?
Uh, Off the right.
Oh wow. I haven't heard that one in a while. But it's all by chance anyway. Let me get this pin. Uh, no way.
I saw it fly off somewhere.
Which way?
It went down.
Yo. Oh my gosh. I don't see. This is the 78 episodes. This has never happened to me before. I'm going to have to pop the other ones
All right,
to
pop,
see.
pop the next
Oh
one.
my. I have to pop the other ones to see who won because I can't find that. So it's not the fundraiser warriors.
All right.
And it's not Make a Wish Foundation. So Flaws, Kawartha Lakes Animal Wellness Society will be getting my donation today.
All right. That's cool. That's cool, man.
All right, Phil, great to have you on, man. Any last words?
Peace, life, love. Keep hip hop alive, yo. hip hop alive, you know. And keep your podcast going, man. We're all watching, you know.
Thank you. All right. Real Talk with Star Scorpio, season 8, and we out.